Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, one and all. Happy Friday. It's the end of another busy work week, and time now just to relax and enjoy the start of what is going to be weather-wise, it looks like a very, very nice weekend. Probably a little windy here in Medicine Hat. I was thinking, coming back to town today, been to Medicine Hat many times, it's always windy here. If I was going to start a business, it would be a hairspray business. I can see we've got some guys in the crowd here tonight have gone to heck with it and just got rid of it all. Anyway, I want to welcome you to Spring Soirée in support of Canadian Mental Health Association, Alberta Southeast Region. My name is Danny Hooper, and for those of you that I have not had the opportunity or pleasure of meeting in the past, I'll just take a quick moment to introduce myself. I started my career in the entertainment business. First of all, I grew up on a cattle ranch in a little town called Tomahawk, Alberta, up near Drayton Valley. That's where I grew up. Edmonton is now my home, and I've been a fundraising auctioneer since 1987. But I started my entertainment career back in 1975 as a country music singer. And for many, many years, especially through the 1970s, we came to town three times a year and used to play the Westlander Inn. Was it the Westlander Inn? And back then, I don't know now, I'm sure it's the same now, you had the coolest police department anywhere. The police chief's name back then was Bob, and all of the policemen were named Bob. And they were big country music fans. They would come and watch us every night. Then we'd go down to the police station, and they had a little lounge there called Bob's Lounge. And it would just carry on. But lots of good memories of Medicine Hat. For those of you that are country music fans, I've been the Master of Ceremonies at Big Valley Jamboree in Camrose for 27 years. This will be my 28th year this coming summer. I've had the great honor and privilege of introducing 486 different acts on the main stage at Big Valley Jamboree. So perhaps we've met some of you there before. And anyway, it's good to be back in Medicine Hat, and I want to thank you very, very much for a couple of things. Number one, supporting this event tonight. This is the 10th anniversary, the 10th annual Spring Soirée, and I just know how busy people are these days. I want to thank you for buying a ticket or accepting the gift of a ticket from somebody else that they're hosting you tonight. But more importantly, I want to say thank you for the gift of your time. We know that the weekends are never long enough and they never come fast enough. And the fact that you're offering up your time on a Friday night does not go overlooked here. And I'll certainly work extra hard to make sure that you are well entertained tonight. And of course, the objective is to raise as much money as we possibly can for Canadian Mental Health Association, the region down here. So I can save you a lot of time right now and just ask outright, do we have anybody here tonight that would consider donating $1 million? And then we can just have dinner and go home. No? Okay. We're going to have to do it the hard way then, but we're going to do it. I mentioned that I started my career as a country music singer, and Lyndon, my buddy Lyndon, the executive director, asked me, he said, would you bring your guitar and would you sing a couple of songs tonight? And I was prepared to do that. When he booked me here months ago for this event tonight, I told him I would bring my guitar, but I didn't bring my guitar, and for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that I had my annual physical a couple of days ago. By God, it's like he's trying to get the last pickle out of the jar. I am concerned about my voice. And the other concern I have, my ego was a little bruised last Sunday. My beautiful wife, Barb, down here, convinced me to go to the senior citizen home in Stony Plain and entertain the seniors, which I don't mind. I love that, and I love elderly people. And so I went to the Senior Citizen Lodge last Sunday afternoon, and I played for about 20 minutes. That's as much as they could take. But I sang Johnny Cash and Marty Robbins songs and Furlan Huskies and Eddie Arnold, Make the World Go Away, all the songs I felt these older people would enjoy. Well, there was one lovely elderly lady sitting right in the front in a wheelchair, and this poor gal, she was in a body cast right from here to here. Last September, she broke her hip, and the poor thing was still in half a body cast, and she sat there grimacing the entire time, and I'm singing, trying to get her to smile, and I felt so bad for her. Her name was Gracie. At the end of my performance, I went down, I knelt beside her chair, I took her hand, and I said, Gracie, I hope you get better real soon. And she said, I hope you do too. So no singing tonight, all right? I'm not going to take the chance. Anyway, folks, a couple of things. I've already done my welcome here. We have to do want to do our land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live and work on the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples of Treaty 7 region and Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of all Indigenous people whose presence continues to enrich our community. Just about 1 month from tonight, I'll be emceeing the Alberta Indigenous Role Model Awards at the River Cree, so that just reminded me of that. Tomorrow night, I've got a neat event in Edmonton. What they're doing for a fundraiser tomorrow night is they're doing a balloon pop, and the grand prize in the balloon pop, if you can believe it, is a trip to Italy to stay at Andrea Bocelli's winery in his hometown. Can't remember the name of the town, some little town in Italy there, outside of Florence. And then you get to see him perform a live outdoor concert. So how cool is that? That kind of reminds me to tell you too, later tonight we're going to do something called a wild card auction. And on each table, we placed a couple of these neon cards. And I'll tell you where the wild card auction idea comes from. I've been doing fundraising auctions since 1987. For years and years and years, I would have people come up to me at the end of an auction, and they would say, Danny, I would have been happy to donate something to the auction, but nobody asked me. I heard that over and over. So I came up with this idea to put a couple of these cards on the table and just invite people, if you'd like to support Canadian Mental Health Association tonight in your region here, and you have something of value that you would like to donate, please write your name, phone number, and the item you'd like to donate on one of these wild cards, send it up to the front, and I will sell it during our live auction. This can be a lot of fun. I've seen amazing items come up in the wild card auction. I was doing an auction for the David Foster Foundation in Toronto few years ago before COVID, and Andrea Bocelli was the entertainer that night on stage. And he donated a wild card item. He donated 2 seats on his private jet to fly to Florence, Italy with he and his wife to stay in their home for 4 nights. Can you believe that? And that sold for $100,000 to a lady in the front row. They're not always good items like that. I was in Cold Lake, Alberta, doing an auction for Stars Air Ambulance, and the local town doctor donated a painless vasectomy for 2. I thought he was joking, so I threw his card on the floor. I thought he was just trying to rattle my chain. But he got upset. We sold everything else that came up. Somebody donated a half of beef cut and wrapped for the freezer, and somebody donated a hand-stitched quilt. One of the babas up there donated 20 dozen homemade pierogies. We had lots of cool stuff come up, and then his vasectomy came. So I threw it on the floor, and he got upset. And I said, well, I thought you were joking. He said, no. He said, somebody will bid on that. So I said, okay. I said, we have a painless vasectomy for 2, which is how I thought they come. Like, what's the point of getting 1 done? I'll do 1 right now, and if that works, I'll come get the other one done. Anyway, I said, guys, we have a painless vasectomy. If anybody's interested, would anybody start the bidding at $300? Well, a guy in the far corner put his hand up, and I said, wow, 300. And I said, how about 400? A guy in that corner puts his hand up, 400, 500, 600. And these 2 guys start going back and forth like they got no idea in the world you can get this done for free in Alberta. So the price is going up, and every time I'm taking a bid, I'm thinking, noofy. Anyway, no, just joking. Anyway, true story, it sold for $3,800 to the guy that started the bidding. And as soon as I said sold, his wife stood up and went, woohoo, and she was about 8 months pregnant. So I was doing an auction at a Catholic church one time, and down in the basement they were raising money for the Knights of Columbus. That's what it was. And the parish priest donated an item, a wild card. He called it Pew with a View. And it was guaranteed front row seating, midnight mass for a family of 4 on Christmas Eve. I said, this is great. You can stay home and drink until 1:45 to midnight. Come in here like you own the place. And the nuns have to move off the front row because it's yours. And that sold for $3,000. So anyway, the worst wild card I ever saw was a lawyer donated a divorce kit. Anyway, that didn't sell. Anyway, so Be mindful, if you have something valuable, please write it on the card and send it up. We have some dignitaries we'd like to recognize tonight. Of course, you're all VIPs, but we have some dignitaries. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Ann Mitchell, our city manager. Ann, if you'd be kind enough, I don't know everybody, but Ann, nice to see you. We did say hello earlier. Lindsay Clark, our mayor. Mayor Clark. You look like a cool mayor. Good on you. I'm glad you're here tonight. Thank you. Shyla Sharps, our city councilor and board member. Shyla, where are you? Rachel St. Jean. I hope it's St. Jean. Is it Rachel St. Jean, our board vice president? Rachel? St. Jean, right? St. John? St. John? St. Jean, St. John. Okay, in Tomahawk it was St. Jean. Jean. That's what I would have said, but I grew up in Tomahawk. Okay. St. Jean. All right, Morgan Emmis, our board member, is with us tonight. Morgan, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Jamie Taylor, another board member, is with us. Jamie, how are you, sir? Carol Hilson, another board member with us. Carol? And Carol is our bakery lady, right? And Carol, you're going to come up later. You donated a wonderful item in our live auction. I want to thank you for that. I'll work real hard to get good money. We're going to get you to come up and describe that to us when the time comes. Alan Murphy, one of our board members, is here tonight. Alan, where are you, sir? There he is. See? You're one of those guys that said to hell with the hairspray, right? Saving a lot of money. Okay. It's my pleasure right now to welcome Rachel St. Jean, our CMHA board vice president, to come forward and share a message with us. Rachel? Are you okay to hold the microphone? Are you okay to hold this, or do you want it in this?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Hi. So, as mentioned, I'm Rachel.
Maybe you should hold that mic. You got it.
There we go. It's my high vibrations. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to stand before you tonight as we celebrate and support the Canadian Mental Health Association Southeast Region, an organization that has been a beacon of hope and a pillar of support for countless individuals and families in the city of Medicine Hat and surrounding areas. It might relieve you to know that for the sake of the mental health of every person in this room, I will keep this brief. Thank you, friends. That's actually why I brought them. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to express our heartfelt thanks to the hardworking staff of the Canadian Mental Health Association. Your tireless dedication and commitment to the cause have made a real difference in the lives of so many people. There's a few over there, and I know there's some of you out here too. Thank you for your unwavering support and your selfless service. Our Executive Director, Lyndon, stepped into this role with a commitment to build on the foundation in place, and our staff have welcomed him with open arms. The staff's dedication to collaboration and to seeing the organization succeed is truly heartwarming, and as a board member, a true relief. The role our staff take working on the front lines, without question, has its ups and downs. There are moments of great elation and unimaginable heartbreak. I am sure at times it must feel like the hits don't stop coming as we see the devastating impacts, and losses in our community. It truly takes a special kind of person to perform the roles that they do, and I would ask that we all stop and acknowledge them now with a round of applause. Organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association are vital to our communities. Mental health is a critical aspect of our overall well-being, and it affects us all in some ways, whether directly or indirectly. Mental illness is a significant challenge that many individuals and families face, and it can be a difficult road to navigate. This is where organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association come in, providing essential services and support to those who need it most, and ensuring education and prevention surrounding mental health and the multitude of impacts it has on our community and its citizens are well known and addressed. As we gather tonight, let us remember that our support for the Canadian Mental Health Association is not just about raising funds. It is about showing our support for those who are struggling with mental illness and their families. It is about raising awareness and reducing the stigma associated with mental illness. It is about creating a more compassionate and caring society, one that supports and uplifts everyone. Although, like brass tacks here, it is a fundraiser, so hearts and wallets, people, open. In conclusion, I would once again like to express my gratitude to the staff of the Canadian Mental Health Association for their hard work and dedication. And I would also like to thank all of you for your generous support of this vital organization. Together, we can make a real difference in the lives of those who need it most. Pardon me? Sure.
It says on my notes.
And without further ado, Executive Director Lyndon. Thanks, Lyndon.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for coming. It's been a very interesting week in Medicine Hat. The needs that we have in the community are evident in support for mental health. And we were at the college yesterday night to see open hearts and open minds to support the people in our community that are in need at this time. I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for you to be here. There was a lot of emotion in our office and in the community and in the supports that are available to people. It's because of the community that we're in that we have such a strong bond. And I really believe that a place like Medicine Hat is a great place to be. My wife and I are from Calgary. I did my university schooling in Regina, and a job came up in Medicine Hat 10 years ago. And we're like, well, we've always kind of driven through and stopped for gas and something to eat. So what else is in Medicine Hat? We went down to the river valley and we're like, wow, it's actually, there's more to it than the drive from Brooks to Medicine Hat in So we thought, yeah, it's a nice little spot. My last employment was actually right here in Medalta. I love Medalta. I'm so proud of the history of Medicine Hat, and quite frankly, that this is our little secret, and when people find out about it, they're shocked. But it's not just the place, it's the people, the concern that we have for one another. I'm very grateful for my team. They make me look great. For next week is actually my 1 year in this position. Last year, when we were doing our Spring Soirée in the last location, I just showed up and everybody made me look good. And I did the same this time. I just kind of show up and everybody makes me look great. We have an amazing team. We've had a lot of awards this year that I've accepted on behalf of the team. And so it's an awkward thing to do when you accept an award for your team. The Post Thrift Store, which is our social enterprise, won a chamber award for the important work that they do in the community. And I'm really proud of that. We have a great team, and it's not just a thrift store. What we'll be talking about later with our Post-it Notes program, the people that we have that come in off the streets. We see a lot of people in need in our location. It's actually great that our offices are now right behind the Post because we're right there to support what's happening in the store. And the community has been very generous to the Post and Salvation Army and making sure that we have the support for our community. And so accepting the award on their behalf is an honor for me because I am grateful to be a part of that. Many of you know that we have a care team, a community assistance response team that works in collaboration with 911 response. That's a 1-year pilot program. We are seeing amazing results from what's happening on the ground in the communities. I think a lot of people, when they first heard about the care team, they're going to be downtown. They're going to be in certain areas of Medicine Hat because those people really need help and support in their mental health. And yes, that is true. But actually, most of our numbers for the care team are in community, are in Ross Glen, are in Crescent Heights, are in families with homes and garages and cars and normal lives. Because we all have mental health, we all have health, we all have struggles that sometimes we can't cope with those stresses and other things that are happening. And so the care team has been amazing to be on the ground and in full support. Chief Murphy of the police and also the medical staff and AHS to support people in our community. It's a one-year pilot, and it is happening in other areas of Canada. And I believe that this is a model that will move forward in every community across Canada, because that first response on the ground is what really counts to support people when they're in crisis. Sometimes it's taking them to the root cellar, sometimes it's taking them to emergency, sometimes it's giving them a warm place to chat. That's really important in our community. If we can prevent the crisis from continuing in someone's life, giving them that hope to receive treatment or receive help, or sometimes to receive a hug, so that sometimes that's all they need to be able to get back to regular life, if that's even a thing anymore. So I wanted to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank my team. We were recognized recently from the province with a Community Justice Award for the care team. And again, I accepted it on behalf of my team, but it's really the work that they do here in Medicine Hat and putting us on the map for all the right reasons. And so I wanted to thank everyone again, my friend Danny Hooper. If he brought the guitar, I probably would have done a duet with him. I told my staff I actually had a four-part quartet when I was a teenager. And I showed my staff the picture back in the 90s with our cummerbunds and our bow ties. And that was a long time ago. So thank you for coming. My team is amazing. I am honored to be part of the team, and I'm honored to be working with healthcare professionals, and not just in the CMHA, but all the community partners that we have around Medicine Hat in the Southeast region. So thank you very much. Enjoy your evening and have fun.